very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's really pleasing to see so many people here, such great attendance. And as Terence said, you're all very welcome to our annual conference 2016. Can I just ask, are there many of you here for the first time? Yeah, quite a few. Well, this is my first time as well. And I'm really delighted in particular to be here in Derry. I really do love coming here, and I'm sure you would expect me to have to say that, but I really do mean that. And like Mark, I stayed in the Bishopsgate Hotel last night, and it was absolutely fabulous and a great addition to the city. And my first engagement when I became Chief Executive of Tourism and I 10 months ago was to attend the Visit Derry AGM. And when I came along to that, I got my ear severely bent by Odrin Dunn and Karen Henderson and said, John, we want you to bring your conference to Derry here this year. So lo and behold, here we are. So you can put all this down to Karen and Odrin. They're the people who convinced us to come here. And indeed, a couple of weeks after that, I attended my first board meeting here. And such was the enthusiasm and the reception that the board received when they came to Derry and they met with the industry here. They decided to bring our tourism awards here as well. So as Terence has said, this is a first for Derry. It's a first for Tourism NI. And clearly it's a first for me, so let's hope it all goes smoothly, and no doubt I'm sure it will. Given that Tourism NI has just turned 1 year old, I thought today presented an opportunity to reflect upon our first year of business, take a look at what's happening in the marketplace, say a little bit how I would like to see us being able to help you as an industry, and what I think you need to do to help us to do that. So for all of us at Tourism NI, it has been a real year of change. We've got a new name. Terence is a new chairman. We have new board members. I arrived as a new chief executive. We've got a new department in the Department of the Economy. Yesterday, we got a new minister, Simon Hamilton. And on Tuesday of next week, we moved to a new home alongside our colleagues in Invest NI in Bedford Street. So a lot going on. So it's a really good time, I would suggest, to look forward. And it's a time to look at how we collectively drive tourism in Northern Ireland. But just before I do that, I would like just to reflect a little bit on what we've achieved together as an industry over the past 12 months. And this time last year, we were preparing to welcome the Tall Ships Race to Belfast. And the images of a sunny Belfast thronged with 500,000 people, beamed live by Chris Evans and The One Show into homes across the UK on a Friday evening, was advertising that money simply could not buy. And that partnership with Belfast City Council and the BBC also brought us Sports Personality of the Year at the SSE Arena for 2025. And the images from the Odyssey let 10 million families, that's 10 million families across the UK see a new Northern Ireland. And in fact, The Guardian the next day, its headline on the front page was to forget about Andy Murray, because Belfast was the real winner at Sports Personality of the Year last night. And I think that was absolutely true. And if we add to that, the vista of Royal County Down, voted the world's best golf course by Golf Magazine this year, at the foot of the Mourns, beamed into millions of homes by Sky TV across the globe during the Dubai duty-free Irish Open. And I think it's probably fair to say that 2015 saw us take another huge step along the path of repositioning Northern Ireland to the eyes of the world. And I just see Maurice Kincaid sitting down there, and we can't also forget the fantastic Van Morrison concert that we had in East Belfast for Van Morrison's 70th birthday. Last year, we also saw two of our leading restaurants, Ox and Epic, obtain Michelin star status. And that's a recognition that Northern Ireland's lifestyle offering in dining, entertainment and hospitality can compete with anywhere in the globe. And as Mark said, the first 5 months of Northern Ireland's year of food and drink has allowed us to very successfully spread that message across the globe. And the statistics which were released this morning show that all of this has helped make 2015 a record year for tourism in visitor numbers to Northern Ireland. And whilst there's been an unfavourable exchange rate and a substantial VAT differential with the Republic of Ireland, and that made things challenging in the domestic marketplace, Visitors from GB and overseas reached record levels. So well done to everybody in the room. All of you here have had a pan to play in that, and that's a great achievement, and I'm sure we will all want to build on that moving forward. Terence mentioned the fact of tourism being an export industry, and I think it's probably fair to say that tourism has never really been seen by most people as an export business here. But tourist business now from out-of-state or export markets is now double that of the domestic market. It now contributes £500 million, that's £500 million to the Northern Ireland tourism sector, or in other words, to your business. So we're now competing on the global stage, and the growth of your business is dependent upon us all collectively working together to compete in that international marketplace. And that's why we have chosen the theme of collaborating locally and competing globally for this year's conference. And our speakers today have vast experience, and they will give us their perspective on what we need to do to compete and how we need to work together to generate the benefit of that collectively. No one in this room, I would suggest, doubts the importance of tourism. Tourism now accounts for 5.2% of GDP and supports directly some 43,000 jobs. And if you add to that the business that those businesses give to other businesses in Northern Ireland, that generates another 15,000 jobs. So in total, 58,000 families are dependent upon the incomes generated from tourism. And the benefits, I would suggest, are even greater than those numbers would suggest. Tourism, I think, has been absolutely critical to the transformation that has taken place in Northern Ireland over the past 10 years. And it's helped transform the image of this place in the eyes of the world. And tourism is now the bedrock on which the regeneration of places like Belfast and here in Derry has been built. And that in turn is helping to attract foreign direct investment. It helps to attract foreign students, and it's also bringing the talent here that is needed to make Northern Ireland businesses successful. And the Capital of Culture 2013 here in Derry was a really good example of that. That year's celebration of what was really great about this place not only helped to showcase the city to the world, but it also added a confidence, I would suggest, to the passion and the pride that people here have for this city. And that's now evident to everyone who sets foot here. And that is felt by visitor and investor alike. And on a personal basis, I'm quite proud to have been involved with both Belfast City Council and Tourism NI in delivering the new conference facilities at the Belfast waterfront this year. And the objective of that project from the very outset was to be the catalyst for growth in the hotel and hospitality sector. So I'm really delighted to see the number of new hotels which are now about to be developed in Belfast over the next 3 years as a result of our investment in that particular project. And that hotel development is now at the very forefront of the regeneration of Belfast, which in turn is attracting foreign capital, and it's going to create thousands of jobs, not just in the hospitality sector, but in other sectors as well. And it's not just our cities which are benefiting. Tourism creates jobs right across the region. It drives economic growth into places where foreign direct investment is not likely to reach. And places like Newcastle, for example, following its regeneration, has seen retail sales double, and shop vacancies in Newcastle are pretty much a thing of the past. So tourism also enhances the quality of life and the diversity of leisure provision for local communities, and it helps create a sense of pride in the place that all of us here that we call home. In 2011, we were set the target of doubling tourism revenue to £1 billion by 2020. And I'm pleased to say that the statistics which were released by NISR this morning show that we're well on the way to achieving that. And over the past decade, tourism has delivered stronger year-on-year growth than any other sector of the Northern Ireland economy. And whilst we've not reached our destination, that goal continues to drive me and drives my team, and we want to work with you to get us all to that point. Yesterday, as you all know, Simon Hamilton was appointed as the new Minister for the Economy. And we're very much looking forward to working with the new Minister in delivering economic growth and prosperity for all of the people who live here. And as we've said, tourism is at the front and centre of exporting in Northern Ireland. And so our services, whilst they're consumed here, they're purchased in the international marketplace. And that generates out-of-state earnings and creates those thousands of jobs, as I just mentioned. By September, we hope to have in place a new strategy for Northern Ireland tourism, and that will set out our ambition and the direction of travel for the next decade. Terence mentioned the point that he felt that we were at the start of a journey, and made the point that to achieve our full potential, we must become increasingly competitive in the international marketplace. And if we compare ourselves to our nearest neighbours, there clearly is potential for further growth. Visitor spend in the Republic of Ireland last year grew by a staggering 20% in 1 year. So, in one sense, while that shows us the strength of the competition, it also shows us the opportunity that is there to be grasped. And I suppose my message today is that I believe that the tourism industry here in Northern Ireland can do that. And we in Tourism NI, we genuinely want to be able to help you to do that. And if we are going to do that, then we need to stand out from the crowd. Because travellers who are likely to visit a place like Northern Ireland are becoming increasingly sophisticated. They're looking for a range of experiences, from iconic offerings like the Causeway or Titanic Belfast, to more obscure, off-the-beaten-track type experiences. And mostly they want to enjoy the opportunity to engage and have the company of local people. And a discerning traveller will be prepared to pay more for an experience that they think that they really enjoy and is a little bit different to what they're used to and gives them something that they can brag about when they get home to their friends. And this type of traveller is really well suited to what we have to offer in Northern Ireland. So in a context where we are marketed overseas as part of Tourism Brand Ireland, we need to be able to both complement and to compete with the offer and the propositions being developed in the Republic of Ireland. And when I say that, I mean the Wild Atlantic Way, Ireland's Ancient East, and the new Dublin Breath of Fresh Air brand. And regional tourism is really heating up. And despite the huge growth which the Republic of Ireland has experienced, it plans to invest really heavily in the development of those products. And the new government, as part of its programme for Government in South, have given a commitment to pump €100 million into the Wild Atlantic Way alone over the next 5 years. So that sets out, I suppose, the challenge that faces us all. And Scotland has also followed suit. It's developed its own North Coast 500 touring route, and Wales continues to invest heavily in activity tourism where it sees itself as having an advantage. During the recent consultation process on the new strategy, you were very clear that we needed to develop our own version of the Wild Atlantic Way. We were told that you would like us to develop something which linked the key tourism areas in Northern Ireland, something which is going to allow us to stand out from the crowd, something that's going to allow us to compete in the international marketplace. And we have already commenced some work in that proposition. And what we're trying to do is to create something which will give a sense of intrigue, sense of imagination, mystery, and create an experience that people here will not want to miss. So that work is currently being tested in some of our core markets. And once that is complete, we'll be telling you a lot more about that over the next couple of months. So that's a common attraction that we want to keep you up to speed on. And the objective of that project is quite simple. We want to attract more visitors. We want them to stay longer. And when they get here, we want them to spend more. And to do that, I think we need to do 3 key things. We need to continue to concentrate on our key markets and market segments. We need to enhance our attractiveness as a destination, and we need to drive industry competitiveness. So we need to work in partnership with Tourism Ireland to reach those markets and those market segments which deliver the greatest spend. And places like Britain and the Republic of Ireland, whilst they're very important to us and generate lots of income, Germans, Americans, and Australians, when they come here, they tend to stay longer and they tend to spend more money. So we have to ask ourselves the question, have we got the balance right in terms of where we're promoting ourselves? And that's something that we will be examining with Till over the next few weeks. And I suppose it's probably fair to say that in those core markets, the culturally curious sector, great escapers, and people who are looking for city breaks will be key target segments that we will chase. But we will also focus on a number of specific products, I would suggest. We will focus on golf. We have the world's highest profile golfer in Rory McIlroy. We've got the Ryder Cup captain this year in Darren Clarke. The world's best golf course is here, and we have the Open, the greatest golf tournament of them all, heading to Royal Portrush in 2019. So that gives us an absolutely massive opportunity to build upon, and we intend to work with you to do that. And in Game of Thrones, we also have something which is really the envy of many. It's capturing worldwide attention. It's got a massive global audience, and many of those who are watching that series want to come here and visit the sets and stay and interact with the people who live here, and we're seeing real benefit from that. So we really want to continue to work with Tourism Ireland, with Northern Ireland Screen and HBO to assist local businesses maximise the opportunity that that will bring. And I briefly mentioned the new conference centre at the Belfast waterfront, and that really now provides a piece of infrastructure that we never had before in Northern Ireland to allow us to compete in the association and international conference market. And I want us to continue to work with Visit Belfast and Visit Derry and our universities and Invest NI to ensure that we're focused on those sectors of business where Northern Ireland can offer real standout and not only enhance, I suppose, bed nights from people who are attending conferences, but also help promote Northern Ireland as a destination for foreign direct investment in those sectors. Securing tourism spend is becoming increasingly challenging, and as I said, tourists are becoming more discerning, and there is so much competition out there that the visitor is absolutely spoiled for choice. So what we absolutely need to do is to differentiate the Northern Ireland experience from those to be had elsewhere, and to do that, I think we need to do two things. We need to ensure that we have an appealing and a growing number of visitor attractions for people to visit, and we need to develop compelling content propositions and deliver unique experiences. So currently we are developing a new policy framework for our tourism development scheme to support a number of new leisure products and potentially the rejuvenation of existing products and experiences which will align to our core markets. And to develop the right experiences, we're seeking to deepen our understanding of our customers' needs to allow us to offer a different and a quality experience which will hopefully provide perceived greater value and allow you in the industry to command a premium price for that. And people are absolutely central to the visitor experience. We in Northern Ireland are a place of creative, ambitious, talented, high achievers who have a unique charm and extraordinary energy and are absolutely world-class at telling stories. And our visitors, when we do our visitor satisfaction surveys, tell us time and again that what makes Northern Ireland stand out from the crowd are those qualities and the commitment to go the extra mile. And if people do go the extra mile to come here, I suggest we need to go the extra mile to make it special for them when they do. So, having said all of that, what do I think that Tourism Northern Ireland can do for you? Well, ultimately, Northern Ireland tourism can only grow if tourism businesses grow. And to that end, I believe that we in Tourism NI need to become focused on the needs of the industry. And for me, it is clear that our customers are the 7,000 tourism businesses in Northern Ireland, and our most important role must be, in the future, to help those businesses become more innovative, more productive, and more profitable. So going forward, I want to see Tourism NI helping to build management capacity, helping encourage innovation, supporting the use of new technologies, enhancing service capability, and working with the department to make sure we have got a regulatory framework which meets the needs of industry. And I am also keen that rather than telling the private sector what it should do, I want us to be able to listen to what the private sector would like us to do. And I would also like us to facilitate the collaboration that we're going to talk about today, both on a sectoral and on a destination basis. And to that end, by the end of this month, we are going to have 6 managers allocated to work with councils and with businesses at that local level. And 3 of those people will be based full-time in offices provided by the councils outside of our head office in North Street. And that's the first time we will have ever had people located full-time basis out in the regions. And we also want to reorient our business so that we become much more focused on tourism businesses themselves. And we want to give each manager a portfolio of companies, and they will be tasked to work directly with those businesses and support their growth. And I understand the irony of this and what I'm about to say, but basically I think we need to become missionaries. We need to get out from behind the pulpit and not to be preaching like I'm preaching to you today. But I have no other choice but to do it the way I'm doing it today. But moving forward, that's not really where we want to be at. We want to have a one-to-one relationship with businesses, and we want to develop those businesses, and we want those relationships to grow. So to resource all of that, I would suggest we need the Tourism Growth Fund, which John Hunter recommended in his review of tourism structures just over a year and a half ago. And we want that to support the growth of individual businesses which demonstrate the capacity and, more importantly, the willingness to grow their business. And that might mean helping with product development, it might mean helping with marketing support, or it might mean helping with sales. So lots of options as to how we might help. But we all know that there is a seismic shift going on in the travel and tourism sector. And that involves a move from traditional marketing mediums to digital and social platforms. And the focus of this, the forecast is that about 50% of all travel bookings will be made via a mobile phone by 2017. So these things here, that phone is going to become, that is the new international tourism marketplace, and we've got a few speakers who are going to say a little bit about that as we move through today. But that is where the whole industry needs to be if it's to grow the future business. And the initial focus of our business support program is therefore going to be on developing the digital capability of businesses, helping you understand and utilize digital technology, and getting businesses to a point where they're bookable online. And the industry has also told us that it needs to sharpen its selling skills if it is to exploit the sales platforms created by Tourism Ireland and in the Republic of Ireland through ourselves. So we will need to focus on that area as well, alongside developing the digital skills. So now I have outlined what I think we would like to do for you. I want to set out what I think you need to do for us. And quite simply, we want you to share our ambition. And that means working with us to help you grow your business by becoming more innovative, more competitive, more importantly, to generate more sales, and in doing so, increase your profitability. So what we want you to do is to commit to working collaboratively with ourselves and with Tourism Ireland and others, and more importantly, other parts of the industry, to create experiences that the visitor wants to purchase. So we want you to work with us and with Till to generate more sales and increase the size of the cake, as opposed to competing for a larger slice of the cake that we already have. Tourism NI, Tourism Ireland, Visit Belfast, Visit Derry, none of us sell products or services. So we're asking you to come into the marketplace with us and to sell your products. And that means selling on both online platforms and on the sales platforms which we offer overseas. And that's going to require an investment in your business as well as from us. But it is not a big investment, and I would suggest the return could be very substantial. And in truth, no business can really expect to grow if it's not selling its services in its core marketplaces. So I think it's important that we ask the question, what does a visitor want, as opposed to what have I got to sell? And in order to help you to do that, we want to be able to provide you with market intelligence and provide you with what you need to innovate and to meet your customer needs and improve your bottom line. And finally, I'm going to make a bit of a plea. It has never been more important that the tourist industry speaks with one voice. We are now entering into a period where government budgets are going to become even tighter than they have been in the past, and the competition for those resources are going to get even greater. And the tourist industry, I would suggest, needs to make its case for government support. We are part of government. We can't not make that case for you. The industry has got to make that case for itself. And you can be assured when the new Department of the Economy gets up and running, and the minute Simon Hamilton gets his feet under the desk, the CBI and the IOD will be fighting the corner for industry. And the universities will be in there together, and they will be fighting the corner for higher education. And the 6 colleges, through Colleges NI, they will be speaking for one voice and will be making the case for further education. And they will all be making the case for resources for the budgets for the new Department of the Economy. And the tourism and hospitality sector needs to do the same. Otherwise, it's going to lose out. And all of those things that we would like to do to help you, we may not get the resources to do it. So I think that absolutely needs to be done. So how do we find that voice? Do we need to have an industry confederation like they have in the Republic, or a tourism alliance like they have in Scotland and Wales? I'll leave you with that thought, but I would like to speak to some of the key industry leaders about how we might facilitate that voice. So really, to sum up, our call to action is you help us and we help you. And like these people, like these rugby players in the Northern Ireland football team, which is about to go out and compete in the international marketplace, I want us to work together. I want us to compete globally, and I want us to collaborate to deliver for local businesses, for local communities, and mostly, importantly of all, for local people. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.